Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell it the truth about silver. Today is Monday the 23rd of January 2023. And last week we published two separate videos. Our 2023 silver price forecast and unveiling the gold price forecast for 2023 is an all-time high on the horizon. And we've placed links to each of these below. Now we are aware that some viewers may not have either been alerted to these videos or simply would prefer a combined version, which is why we've produced this video combining our two forecasts and the reasons why we come to the conclusions that we have. So with this in mind, let's take a look. In 2022, we saw gold open initially on the 4th of January at just shy of $1,812, rising to $1,936 on the 24th of February when Russia invaded the Ukraine, and then traded as high as $2,070, albeit for a short time, though the highest close we found was on the 8th of March at $2,039. It ended the year at $1,823, up approximately 0.5%. Now we saw silver open just shy of $22.89, though it ended the previous year $23.08, so it was down on opening, reaching a closing peak of $26.18 on the 9th of March and a year's low of $17.77 on the 1st of September. Now, it ended 2022 at $23.95, just shy of $24, and so was up a similar amount to gold for the year, depending on whether one calculates end-of-year figures or beginning of new year figures, and whose figures specifically you take. But there was very little difference between the two. We should, however, in spite of all this, bear in mind that gold's all-time high in dollars was $2,075 in August 2020, and silver's was $48.70 on the 28th of April 2011. Yes, over 11 years ago. Now, what immediately cut gold and silver prices short in terms of further rises, which we would have seen, was the Fed's FOMC 7 interest rate increases totaling 425 basis points during the year to combat and how to control inflation rate, which seems now to have peaked earlier at 9.1%, with new PCE figures due to be announced on Friday, the 27th of January. We note that the November figures were 5.5%, so the January figures, which will be quoting the PCE for December, will still be, no matter what that figure is, be a far cry from the 2% target the Fed has ultimately in mind. So, we witnessed the Fed funds rate rise from the start at 0% to 0.25 to its current 4.25 to 4.5%. And there are expectations of a probable 0.5% rise due on the 1st of February of this year. Now, in the last couple of months, we've seen numerous price predictions for gold and silver, ranging from anything from the pumpers' outrageous suggestions of hundreds of percent increases to the more conservative financial institutional forecasts, which could prove perhaps too pessimistic. We'll wait and see. The consensus for the likes of Societe Generale, ANZ, ABN AMRO, Commerzbank and Reuters see gold end 2023 at or between $1,550 and $1,900, so a reasonable spread of quite a few $100s there. Trading Economics, Wisdom Tree, Coin Price Forecast and Gold Silver predict gold will end the year somewhere between $1,950 and $2,250. So you can see between all of these institutions, we have almost, not quite, a $700 variance. On the silver front, Trading Economics, Commerzbank, TradingEducation.com, LongForecast.com, and Jeffrey Christian of CPM predict that silver will end the year somewhere between $23.50 and $28.11, with lows during the year down to $17.50. While Coin Price Forecast, Wallet Investor, and GoldSilver.com see prices end the year anything from $25.50 to $33.37, with gold, silver seeing silver going to $50 if there's a crisis, or at least reach as high as $35 during the year if there's no major crisis. So, what do we believe will happen to gold and silver prices during 2023 and by the year end, bearing in mind the quite divergent figures from these various institutions? Of course, none of us have a crystal ball. However, we've taken into account a number of critical factors. One, the Fed's position on interest rates, which we see peaking either at 525 to 550 or 550 to 575 Fed funds rate, and potential cuts by the end of the year from that peak if the Fed is aggressive early on. We also look at the US dollar value, with the index currently just above 102. We believe it will fall below 100 by the end of the year and potentially decline to around 95. And of course, the potential global recession could actually help gold but harm silver. In addition to this, we still have geopolitical concerns with regard to Russia and Ukraine, a war far from over, and further turbulence with China and potentially North Korea continuing to create global instability. And of course, we also have to attempt to measure how deep and for how long both a US and global recession lasts. And our view is that it'll be quite deep but relatively short. Now, throwing all of this into the melting pot and taking into account what we believe will happen to gold demand for investment purposes, and correlate this against equities, interest-bearing investments and cryptocurrencies, because many of them are competitors, our forecast for gold in 2023 is, without any major black swan event occurring, we see prices will rise as high as $2,200, and if there is a mild crisis, then 2004 is not ruled out. However, we expect to see gold trade between 1900 and 2000 by the end of the year. This could happen in our view even if gold were to fall between 1600 and 1650 during the course of the year, though we suspect 1700 is likely to be the bottom, but we're not ruling out 1600, just in case certain events occur that cannot necessarily be forecast or at least guaranteed. Now, with regards to silver, much will depend on how bad the global recession becomes, as over 50% of silver's demand is for industrial purposes, and the worse the recession, the larger hit silver will take. With this in mind, we could see silver peak during the year, though, at $35, but there would, in our view, have to be quite a mild crisis, not quite black swan event, for that to occur. Our view is that a peak of $32 is more likely than $35. We envisage that by the year end we shall see silver trade higher than it did last year, between $27 and $29, on the proviso that interest rates do not exceed 5 to 5.25%, and that we've seen the first fall of rates by the end of the year. We have to add that caveat, otherwise silver would be lower. We would equally not be surprised if silver falls during the year to $18, with $17 as an outlier short-term dip. What do you think? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Finally, if you are considering thinking about purchasing gold and silver, then do make contact with the Pure Gold Company, we place a link below, who are only too happy not only to discuss short-term purchases and sales, but also longer-term strategies and retirement considerations. They will also offer you a discount or special terms if you state you were referred by Illuminati Silver, and we too will receive a small consideration. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel, not forgetting to press the bell sign so you're notified of our videos as and when they're published. And it goes without saying that we wish you all a safe and prosperous 2023. Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.